I understand where Aaron is coming from, but it's nothing unusual. I mean, if you had to ask me if John Elway ever had any input into the Denver Broncos, I'd say yes, he did. If you asked me if Dan Marino had input into the Miami Dolphins, I'd say yes, he did. Quarterbacks have had input. I've had input. The Houston Oilers would ask me my opinion on certain players. So that's not something that's new right now. It's just that I don't know why Aaron had to go through all he had to go through to get to this point. But some organizations are better at including players than others, and Green Bay has probably just not been that way, and that's what he wants from out of that organization. But this isn't new, and quarterbacks have had that input, and it's too bad Aaron had to go through all of this drama, like you said, over the last offseason in order to get his point across, where I think this is just something that could have been handled in a conversation, a long time ago.
Whose fault was this? We've heard Aaron's side now. I mean, he explained in detail. We haven't necessarily heard the Packers version of the events, but did the Green Bay Packers screw this up? Did they almost lose their 3-time NFL MVP quarterback, a guy who's one of the greatest players of all time? Did they really screw this up and almost lose Aaron?
I think there's fault on both sides, but I don't think Aaron was ever going to retire or anything like that. He still wants to play the game. He still has some good years left. But when you're 38 years old, you don't have an option to sit out a year. You only have so many years left. So I knew that he would come back to play eventually, but I'm glad they were able to get on the same page. But yeah, Green Bay could have did some things differently. They could have told him that they were going to draft the young quarterback Love before they did it, just as a courtesy. But you're always going to be unhappy when players get released that are good friends of yours on the team or guys that you think are solid. But there's a lot of other reasons why teams let guys go, not just because they don't think they're good enough football players. Money has a lot to do with it, salary cap, all those different things. So that's something that players don't totally understand all the time.
Now, you brought up Jordan Love's name, and I'm glad you did. Young quarterback is still sitting there now watching again this season. What do the Packers do with Jordan Love? Do they try and trade him? Do they cut bait with Aaron after this season? What should the Packers do? How do they navigate this situation having two quarterbacks?
I think they just continue to keep developing him, because last year he had no playing time. He didn't play. There wasn't a preseason. He had no regular season snaps. So this year he gets a whole off season. He gets a training camp, and he gets a preseason to really go out there and play and see what he can do. And then Aaron's going to be there. So you don't have to force him on the field or put him out there too quickly. Aaron didn't play until his third year with Brett Favre there. So there's no hurry to put Jordan Love on the field before he's ready, especially when you have a former MVP sitting on your roster. Now, if Aaron has another great year, say they go to the Super Bowl and he doesn't want to leave anymore. Okay, now you have to make a decision on Jordan Love. Do you think he's ready to play, or do you want to keep going with Aaron because he's still playing well? So they have until the end of this season to really make a decision on that quarterback position.